Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Press Start to Play. I'm your host Ayush, and joining me today is Manus Joy and Sushir Rahman.
What's up?
And I know we haven't been around for a little while, but it's because we've all been busy playing a lot of games. I've been playing Black Myth Wukong. Finished it. I can proudly say it is my first Souls-like game that I finished ever. And now I know why I never finished the Souls-like game after playing Black Myth Wukong. Now I know, and I'm ready to talk about that. I've been playing Space Marine 2. Manus has also been playing Space Marine 2. I
Yeah,
think a
yeah.
lot. Space Marine 2, a bit of Diablo 4. I'm back to with a new season that's come around, and WWE 2K24 now that's free on PSN. So now that I played Wukong for like 3 months, committed, like in a committed relationship. Now that I'm done with it, I'm just playing 3-4 games at the same time simultaneously.
Wukong कैसा था?
Like
How was it to finish? Like story, combat, and everything.
Wukong was, in my opinion, Wukong was excellent, man. First of all, like the combat is excellent, and the game is not designed to cheat with you. जैसे Black Souls, Dark Souls में काफी जगह पे there are opportunities where you are tricked into dying. Jump from here, and there's someone standing right next to like a hidden path, and they will attack you. These kind of situations also happen in Wukong, but you are prepared for those situations much better than you would be in a Dark Souls game. And like the experience as a experience and the collection of like souls or will in this case is abstracted from the actual tough part of the game, like the fighting part, right? So there is that. So I would say like it's not Dark Souls; it's more like Dark Souls Light or Souls Light, you can say, where where your experience level experience is different. Your progression through your levels, your skills is different, and it's always ongoing. So even if you get stuck at like a boss fight, um, if you fight it like 100 times, you are progressing. You are progressed 100 steps, 100 times into that progression, and
अच्छा,
you
wait.
can get
जैसे
better at
for
it.
example, if you die mid boss fight, do you still get some
मिड बॉस
XP?
फाइट तो ये मिड बॉस फाइट
Okay, okay.
कुछ
अच्छा, but
एक्सपीरियंस नहीं
along
होता,
the way
बट
जो
दे
enemies है उनका भी
ऑल द
काउंट होता है.
जो वॉट एवर एक्सपीरियंस यू हैव गॉट दैट विल बी काउंटेड,
समझ
सो
गया.
यू विल गेट, एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट इज नॉट लॉस्ट अपॉन
Yeah,
डाइंग
yeah, yeah.
ऐसा.
Yeah, उस मामले
So
में
it's
थोड़ा
very
सा
good.
और मतलब कुछ कुछ ऑब्स्टिकल्स हटा दिए उन्होंने, which is yeah.
Yeah. Plus, जैसे like there is not a lot of fluff. Because the game looks excellent, I think, and that's like a limitation. Also, you don't fight a lot of extra enemies, on and sometimes you will face like boss upon boss upon boss, like 3 to 4 bosses in a sequence, especially depending on a path that you've taken. And for a game, this big with like certain sections, some of the maps are really huge,
अच्छा,
and
आयुष ये मेरा
there
एक
are.
था कि ना आई प्लेड टिल चैप्टर 3 या 4.
Mhm.
एंड मुझे शुरू में तो बिल्कुल ऐसा लगा कि लेवल डिजाइन में कुछ है ही नहीं, बट आगे आगे लाइक इज इट लाइक मच बेटर.
Yeah. Three. Did you get to three, like the ice part, like the
या
ice ocean
या
part, Manas? So once you from three, the game like really expands into multiple pathways. Three is a
ओके.
huge chapter, and I thought it was actually, and then four is exactly the same, like huge size, lots of optional path. Five is the same, and then six is more in line with like chapter two in size and scale and optional paths. So say, and then there is an entire epilogue which is again like in a, I think it's as good as a chapter to get the good ending. Like you
ओके.
have like 3 to 4 boss fights in sequence, and so it's very. I think like that it when you see a game, like when you see a Ubisoft game, right, and it's a huge open world, and we say, this is like, I can't believe they spent like 3 years to get this, make this game. In the case of Wukong, I can safely say that you look at that game, you will say, yeah, I can see why they spent 5 years making this game. Like the amount of details that have gone into the lighting, the environment creation, and there's all type of environments, right? The biomes are like ranging from sea level to forests to deserts to to ice cold plateaus and all that stuff. And then the best part about this Dark Souls game is that it has an influx with the journey to the west. It has influx with history and a lot of characters that are in there. Even if they're not recognizable, at least they have a historical background, right? And I don't have to be like an video game archaeologist to find out what the story is. Like I have to read the description on every item that I find, and so it's it's not hard to follow through to understand what the story is like. you still have to read the journal entries, which is about the only thing you need to do. And the good thing about journal entries is like they are stories taken from actual Japanese culture, Chinese culture about Buddhism's. So folklore stories, right? About a certain wolf demon. So if you're fighting that wolf demon, there will be a short story about the wolf demon,
Okay.
and then they would string together two or three short stories to form like a larger context of what is happening in the certain arc or something like this. And the main concept, if you've not read The Journey to the West, is like this story follows someone who is retracing the step of the monkey god, and it is basically the game itself is set like 300 to 400 years after the original Journey to the West. So it takes a look as to what happened to the people who were affected during the journey. So
Okay.
like the so there's a chapter 5 mein, there is like a bull king. Bull king was one of the main enemies slash friend that Wukong, the original Wukong had. So in this game, he's old. He's like going to die, and he's being succeeded by his son. So all these things are like explored in a different sense,
ओके तो
and it's
ये भी एक मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि ना शुरू में मुझे लगा था इस मोस्टली लाइक अ बॉस रश काइंड ऑफ गेम स्पेशली वो फर्स्ट लेवल देख के मुझे लगा अच्छा लाइक यू नॉट रियली सपोज टू हैंग आउट हियर क्योंकि इट्स थोड़ा फीचरलेस है लाइक इट्स अ जंगल बट मतलब कुछ नोटेबल
right.
नहीं है ना तो मुझे एंड तो
Hmm.
मुझे लगा स्टोरी भी इतना सीरियस है बट डज इट लाइक गेट वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड लाइक डीप एंड मीनिंगफुल
Yeah, I think it does, especially for people who are interested in stories and not being like handed to them like everything is told through dialogues. You will find even more ways to appreciate the story. Like if you like going into the journal, okay, it's like I just fought this enemy, it looks super cool. Journal entries unlocked. You go there, and it's a short story about that particular kind of demon, and you know why, how they were, what's the original origin of the demons per se, or how they are being used in this. So it's very nice. I think it was very good. Uh, बहुत ही अच्छी थी मतलब इनफैक्ट जैसे लाइक सो विदाउट spoiling, or maybe we'll do a major spoiler because I wanted to talk about this later a lot. So this is a spoiler. If you're still planning to finish Wukong, you can skip this part. Right. So the game is like you are a monkey and you want to be at the end you want to be Wukong. Right. So there are 6 parts of the Monkey King which have been scattered across 6 bosses or 6 places. Right. So you capture all these 6 things, and the last thing that you're supposed to get is the mind of Wukong. Okay. And the working theory is that because the mind is not mind is the only thing that cannot be captured, so it is lost. So you can become the new Wukong, but you will not have his mind. Like you will not be
ओके
the same Wukong as the last time, right? So and that's what happens in the end of the game. You become entrapped in the same place as the last Wukong. You take his place basically. So you have all the powers of Wukong, but you're now trapped in the same place Wukong was without his mind. So you replaced the original Wukong basically, right?
ओके
That is the standard ending, like the uh, default ending of the game, right? Now, if you have finished all the other missions, all the optional things in the game, you have an option to go and fight. You've seen the first cutscene, Manas, like the first cutscene, the
या
person that Erlang is the person who
या
has beaten you, and it seems like Erlang was the one who wanted to beat Wukong, right? But it turns out Erlang has the mind of Wukong. Basically, he captured the mind of Wukong within himself, right?
ओह
And the entire point of this was that Wukong had this headband on top of him, which was controlled by the Buddhists to basically torture him and keep him under control and do whatever he wants to do. And this was his plan to basically get away from that headband. So at the end, if you do that optional battle, you get the mind of Wukong, and now you're Wukong incarnate.
ओके
And at that point of time, and because your body is different, you don't have the headband on top of you, and then you can refuse not to take the headband and be free again. So that is it's a big story, heavy story, right? In a sense, like there is a point to what you're doing and what you're doing across, and how people have changed from how they were good, how they were not, rewarded for it. Some felt they have been left or betrayed by Buddhism and all that stuff. Not It's not a pro Buddhism, pro Taoism, pro Chinese. It explores all of that, and hence the name like the Black Myth, right? So all in all, I think I enjoyed it overall. Like I was very happy with it. I didn't have to think about ye jo banda hai, the names in Elden Ring, which are hard for me to pronounce, and like why this sword means more to him, and why this sword means nothing to him. It's something like that. I felt more connected to it, Like it did for me what Assassin's Creed do for most of people. It exposes a bunch of history, real history, through the lenses of video games, and which I think is like very hard to find a cocktail of in these days.
Yeah. नहीं ये सुन के तो I'm thinking मैं I should even restart and focus more on the story. फाड़ू sound कर रहा है.
कभी कभी it can get like a little too much, you know. You're like, ठीक है, now this is the boss man, I just want to beat him and go on to the next stop. But you know, you just need to, yeah, मतलब I, in my sense, I was playing on offline mode, so I had the oldest version without any updates on it.
Okay.
So that, in my opinion, made boss fighting a little easier, because updates later on, they kind of nerfed some of the skills. But yeah, it's still very fun, and the combat is fair. That I would say is very fair, and you can become overpowered, you know, as you go along, which is nice.
Okay. Yeah, even I'm really liking the combat a lot. शुरू में थोड़ा टाइम लग रहा था हैंग मिलने में. It's a little different उसका. उसमें there is no parry, नहीं, there is no shield or anything ना.
There is no block. There is
हाँ,
no
block
such
नहीं,
block
no
as such.
block.
एक
Yeah.
हाँ, और क्या कहते हैं, when you unlock that वो billet pool वाला combat, Manas, then
Yeah.
that becomes much more
Yeah.
easier. Like combat, I think, like becomes much more easier, where you can hit people from a very varying length of
Yeah.
space. It becomes much
Yeah.
more easier.
A lot of fun.
But yeah, that's my spiel about Wukong, man. I think like everyone who has, well, I think everyone who has bought the game, at least, it's already like how many million copies sold already. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that, you know, not a lot of people are talking about that game being like a game of the year contender, because it definitely is. Like there is literally no part of that game which is subpar to what a AAA would be. Like I'm listening to these podcasts to, you know, at Giant Bomb, and like what's the the Greg
Kind of
one,
funny.
Kind of
and
funny.
kind of funny, and IGN. That's where like normally I get my podcast from, and even like Secret Symbols. Obviously, that is like a more PS focused podcast, but I haven't heard this game being in discussion, all the while talking about the games that are there, which I have played, and I can say for sure that, you know, they're not as good as Wukong, in the sense of a complete package. I mean, people are talking about Animal Will and Nice to Be Here. I think that's the name of the game, if I'm not getting it
Thank
wrong.
goodness
Nice
you
to
here.
Be Here. Thank goodness you're here. Yeah, and sure, they have like excellent concept of and, you know, it's an indie vibe, but they are what they are. They are like smaller games
Yeah.
in scale, in scope, in vision, and they're not Wukong, so to speak. Like they're not a
Even I
triple
agree
A
है ना, थोड़ा like
open
there
world.
is a
Yeah,
lack of mention of that game, थोड़ा missing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a little odd.
I think Uthoda Western media also ran with the like, kind of saying that like 60-70% of the most of the players are from China. It's like a game made by Chinese for the Chinese, and the combat isn't that good, and all these kind of things like floating around, which I think would be like, I think would be like a big snub for Wukong this year.
Yeah.
Like I personally haven't played it, but I have heard many people talking really well about it, who have gone through the game, who have experienced the whole, the myth, the stories and everything. Uh, I just think, just like I said, the scope and every other thing matters. It's hitting the ball out of the park as a AAA, and it should be considered in that category itself. So, and
yeah,
there are fewer games right now that I won't say surpass it, but like if it's a thing about equals, a fight among equals, then Wukong needs to be there. That's what the situation is.
yeah. And I think like just imagining it, like in the sense, like we are talking about open world. I think this is the way to go open world also, like where you have these sections instead of like one huge sprawling world which kind of cripples you with choice. And the tools that are provided in game to track your progress is very good. Like in, for example, like in chapter 1, I only have 9 entries in my journal. Like that's it, 9 out of 9, like 0 out of 9. And so I am confident that I'll fill it up by that point, and then an X amount of entries are added in the next chapter, and and each chapter is huge enough for me to give enough opportunities to explore and all that stuff. I mean, Elden Ring is great. I I enjoy like the idea of the open world where you get into a boss fight and you can just run away, like into some other direction until you feel more comfortable. And Wukong is the same. The only difference is that there are chapters instead of like one huge open world where you are blocked by gates at certain
Yeah.
points of time, right? And I think other games like so much discussion around how outlaws should be. What that Ubisoft needs to do, the formula different. That open world formula needs to change, and like the collection towers need to change. And there is an example right in front of you that's come from a different section of the world, is doing something that it's fun to play, right? It's fun to do. It's fun to do to do collectathons in this game, and so why not take those examples? Why not put them in? I think
Yeah.
like the fear is there is a lot of fear mongering going on. No, not I wouldn't say fear mongering, but it's just like narrative around the game and how it is pictured. But it is also being accurate to the time or to the history that was formed. And just to like, and this is for the sake of Darren and all the DBZ fan, So the writer of Dragon Ball Z, his influential work of literature was Journey to the West,
Hmm.
and you can see
Yeah.
that Son Wukong, Son Goku, right? And when the Saiyans become giant monkeys, when they lose control, is a reference to the monkey
Yeah.
god himself. And even the Nimbus cloud that Goku flies around on is taken from the somersault cloud that Wukong flies around on. So, and that
Hey, Ayush, your voice cut out.
Can't hear you.
sorry, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
So I think it's my headphones just lost power. But yeah, I think it's it's sad if it's not considered because it definitely is a contender. I mean,
Yeah.
people are talking about Dragon Age Veilguard to come out, and I look at that game and I see, man, dude, this game doesn't look like it. This game looks like it should have come out in 2020 2018. That's how I feel looking at it. It
Yeah.
looks so. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm old.
नहीं hopes तो
Yeah.
मेरे बहुत है with Dragon Age, but
Yeah.
given the last one. But ये Black Myth I am, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to. थोड़ा I'm just so busy with so many random things कि मैं से focused एक उस पे game पे time spend ही नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. What I want to, especially with the Dragon Ball Z connection and all, like it वो that has inspired so many other media also. वो story पता करना.
Yeah, it is essentially one of the most like that. Journey to the West is essentially one of the defining piece of literature in
Yeah.
China. Right,
Yeah.
lots of influence there from lots of places.
I think Western studios did take a bite at it back with the Enslaved Odyssey to the West, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a good game,
Yeah.
good looking game,
Yeah,
and
game.
had some interesting stuff that it did. But yeah, it's I definitely think like people should take a chance on it and try it out, check it out. On the basis of that, did you guys seem to notice Daniel Ahmed's tweet about Black Myth Wukong and Chinese how will I say Chinese players wanting more from the video games industry, regional pricing and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like Chinese audio dub and stuff like that, which was a conversation has been going on behind the back for the last 1 month or so, with Jay, with Hemang and everybody pulling in from Twitter, and we have been talking about how regional pricing can make or break a game in India, especially with some of the games being really outrageously priced. Like for example, Metaphor ReFantazio, it's like 5,500 something for the base standard game. So I hope like in the coming few years we people from Southeast Asia can rally towards demanding more quality and more support, just like how the Chinese people are doing like right now.
Yeah.
भाई जियो पास आएगा they will give it.
अभी इंडस भी तो है ना.
Yeah. My God, are we going to talk about that?
नहीं, not
Can
yet.
we
You
can, but
talk.
I want to talk about Sushil's demos
Yeah,
because
okay,
he's in
next was
a lot of
demos,
Team Fest demos, right? And
Yeah.
so he always has a lot of good suggestions when it comes to demos, and because there are a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
and I don't have the time to play all those demos. So I outsourced that information to Sushir, that work
Yeah.
Sushir. I think Sushir has some demos for us from the
Yeah.
Steam Fest that we can look at.
So this edition of the Steam Next Fest during October has been going on. It'll be ending, I think, tomorrow. We are recording on October 20th, and it'll be over on October 21st. It has like hundreds and hundreds of demos this time around, and I finally could settle down on 40, and I downloaded 40 of them. And the
Okay.
thing is that, like, Aish, it's just that like you can sit around and do the blacksmith thing. You have those like 1 hour periods where you can play a game and you can concentrate on it. And I'm at so much running the risk of like FOMO and everything that I'm like flitting through games one after another. And the demos are the best way to get it. Like which indie title to look forward to, or which indie title I'm like really excited about. One of them like Europa. I'm definitely going to get that, which came out this week. I think the whole game came out, and I'll be definitely giving. I had played that demo 3 times around in the past Next Fests. But for you guys, I think since Manas and I wish both of you are here, I think Manas has been also playing a few demos, right?
A few of them, yeah, I checked.
Few of them. So I'll just keep a top 5 maybe of the list that I have, and I'm going to try and keep it short. So the first one that I want to suggest is a heavy metal horror game. It's called The Axis Unseen.
Oh yeah.
It's by Nate Furkypile. He was one of his background is that he was in Bethesda, and then he worked in Starfield, and then he went on
Itna
to
chahiye
become
tha.
to Itna Hi Chahiye Tha.
ये तो सुशील के लिए like always yes, pre-order.
And yeah, I think with Starfield, what happened is that Nate decided that like there were many more people involved, and it was a much more structured manner that things were going through, which was a very different thing when Bethesda was doing it for like less than 200, 150 people. So he became an indie developer, and this is his first game, self-made game. It's called The Axis Unseen, and it's something that has some tones with the thing about Black Myth Wukong you're saying. So the things that it's taken from ancient folklore in and around the England and Scandinavia and all those places. And what is happening is that there are these monsters, nightmarish monsters who are all around in this world. Okay, in this open world, it's mysterious. It's not like you don't have those like checklist kind of a thing. And the thing is that you have been sent over there to hunt them, and you do that one at a time. Like but the thing is that you're not only the hunter, you're also being hunted, and that's the whole point. And that it has a heavy metal soundtrack. It's definitely going to scratch that itch that people. It's not Light Souls. Yeah, I coined a new
Witcher
term,
3
Light
कैसा लगा?
Souls.
Have you played Witcher 3?
This is like you have to track them. There's a little bit of monster hunter kind of a thing. You have to track them, and then you have to improve your senses and everything. And then you have like these different kinds of arrows that you can use. You have to make and craft them, and then you have like this compendium which you open up, and then you learn about these kind of animals, and then you go ahead and it's just it's a fascinating game, and I think it's a more refreshing thing. Like if I hadn't told you it was made by one person, you would have gone in and thought like, yeah, this is a decent thing by a team. But it's made by one person, and it is fantastic. People should definitely try it out. The Axis Unseen, and the good point about it is that by the time this video comes out, the main game will be out.
Yeah, I think it's already out. Came out.
It's 22nd October, so it's going to come
Oh,
out on
achha.
Tuesday. Yeah. So I just think this is definitely going to be one of those indies to look forward to.
How horror is it? Sushir, कितना डरावना है?
It's not like in your face like jump scare kind of a horror, but it has horror elements. It has horror.
You're fighting
And
these
this is
big
only
monsters.
on PC? या फिर on consoles also?
Oh, this I'm not.
Abhi
aware
only
of.
on PC, I think.
I think it's only on PC. Yeah. In that aspect, I think I'm very biased. Let's move on to the second game, and I think this one also you will find interesting. It's called The Precinct, and this is about being a
This is a cop
policeman.
game.
Yeah, cop
Huh?
game. Yeah,
Uh,
and it's like an isometric cop game, but like real time. It's like one of those like GTA 3. You remember? Like
but then,
GTA
man,
just before GTA 3 when the thing was isometric, right?
ooh,
When you could
hmm,
see, yeah, when GTA London and stuff like that. This is like a little change from that. The last game, the Fallen Tree Games, the developer, the last game was a game called The Fugitive, I think, American
Yeah,
Fugitive or The
yeah,
Fugitive. Yeah, and that was also cool. But this one, they have taken it up a notch, and here you're like a police man, and you have to go around the city. It's like fully fleshed out. You can make arrests. You can fine people for graffitiing, the walls. You can fly a chopper, and like some car is like going on a like a complete frenzy, and you can chase it and show the light, and then you can ask people to put spike strips and stuff like that. And then you have these robbers and everything who go run away in a car, and you have to chase them in a car. So it has all these interesting things baked into like a very interesting perspective, this top down kind of a perspective. And it there's a very engaging story too. It very straightforward but engaging, I think. And I think it makes for a really good police game. Like if you want to be like be the arm of the law, kinda not the same, but kinda like the vibes of how will I say, being in a cop procedural. Like every day, you're doing something, and then next day the day comes up, and there are some role playing elements. You have like a skill tree kind of a thing which you can level up, and you get like different kinds of attributes based on that. There's a day night cycle and everything. It's good. It's good. It's interesting, and the demo itself packs itself into like 20-25 minutes maximum, and it takes you through like chop 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 many multiple stuff, like make arrests, take a fine, you parking ka fine kar rahe ho kisi ko, theek hai, and stuff like that. So very interesting kind of a game out there right now. So and this is going to come out, I think, quarter 4. So January, February, March, anytime. So that's 2 games down. Let's come to the third game. Third game, I'm going to keep it a little much more, pulling on the strings of nostalgia. If any of you guys have played Harry Potter, the older games, 1, 2, or 3, okay, this is going to be interesting because let me read out the name of the game. It's called Secret Agent Wizard Boy and the International Crime Syndicate. Okay. This is being made by John Smensky and published by David Smensky. Those two people out there who are creating all these kind of.
they made
This
Dusk
is
and
like a
Wormwood and all, na?
yeah. It captures the essence of those games like perfectly, like collecting all those what were they called, like Bertie Bott's every flavor
Yeah.
beans. So here they are donuts or stuff like that. They're like captured almost every other thing. But the thing is here that the MI6 have contacted you, like a wizard who has got into
MI6.
first year, yeah, and like Voldemort or something. The name is, he's like doing some nefarious illegal stuff in the this Green Hogwarts copy, and you have to go and stop him and give the information to MI6. And but the thing is that this one takes advantage of the physics that is now possible in 2024 in having a game which looks like a complete retro game but use physics. So you can go in and you can pick up these bouncy like how will I say, traits kind of a thing, and you can throw them and you can bounce on them, and then you can go like way higher than you can jump in. You can take mines, and whenever like these prefects are running over, if you do something naughty, the prefects will come running to you, and they will like impendo you and like completely take you out. Okay, and then the next day happens, and you have lost little bit of the progress. So you can throw those mines and you can blow them up, and then you can reach these.
ये प्रीफिक्स से वो माइंस फेंक रहे हैं बिल्कुल
Yeah.
नेक्स्ट लेवल स्कूल में ये लो मुझे मेरे कैप्टन पीछे मार रहा है ये लो माइन.
And even the demo has this interesting thing where like you have to open a door, and they have these 4 shapes that you need to collect from all over the castle to open that door, and it takes you through some really interesting parts. Like, and it's completely open, you have to figure it out. So but it takes quite a little bit of inspiration from those puzzles of those games, and creates these interesting scenarios and circumstances. I think people are going to really like it, people who have played those kind of games, and people who are looking forward to like complete mayhem and hijinks. And also, this game is will be having multiplayer PvP. So I think that part wasn't shown in the demo, but with with the PvP, I think this is going to be like a complete castle and like 20-25 people thrown in or whatever, and people will be getting up to all kinds of physics problems, stuff like that. Uh, I think this is a good jumping point for people trying to understand what those games were all about, and and having a good laugh in the way. So yeah. So that was the third game, right? And I have two more, and I think I deserve two more because one of them is going to be something which was supposed to come out in back in 2000s. Like it's called this game is called Captain Blood. Uh,
Or FYI, like I asked Sushi to pick three, and he's gone over three.
yeah, but I'll tell you why Ayush I picked this game up because this game was kind of cancelled at that point of time when it started. The same studio had started working on this Seawolf Studio, and it was supposed to come out in late 2005 6. But then the God of War original came out in 2005, and then the whole Prince of Persia series started coming out from 2003, 2004, and 2005, and it has almost like similar like a gameplay kind of a like perspective and scenarios. So I think they just got cold feet and they couldn't get like the appropriate funding and everything, and so they stopped working on that at that point of time. Because I think at that point of time, 2003, 2005, it would have been really difficult to compete with the God of Wars and the Prince of Persia's coming out. So Captain Blood is coming out now, and they have got back the team. They have started, they made the game and everything. They put out a demo. It's going to come out soon. I think in 2025, the first half itself. This is like complete combat kind of a thing where you like go ahead. Sometimes it's sideways, sometimes it's like front, like the two thrones and stuff like that. The combat is there, and then you're fighting these pirates and you're going on in the seas, and then there are like completely colorful characters and everything. It looks and feels almost like a game that came out during that time, but it has all the quality of life improvements that you would expect from a 2024 game. So, so that is something that I think if you're wanting a game with like, oh, I want a 2000s era game right now because almost every other game is not pleasing me enough. It's not good enough. This is something that you like. It's
I
good
was
from
thinking, I was thinking exactly the same thing, man. I'm playing Space Marine 2 right now.
yeah
Like,
yeah
that's a lot of hack and slash, but I was thinking like I need a hack and slash in my life, man. Which is like a melee hack and slash with lots of enemies coming at you, a little thoda sa upar, so that his
yeah
shoulder is blocking 30% of the screen.
yeah
Like that kind of a game, I'm okay for it, and not like Hades where you're like tick, tick,
yeah.
tick, then you have to fidget and then like work on cooldowns and lot. I want like a proper. I'm mashing buttons, killing people. That's all I want basically. Just running through them.
Yeah, you'll be like brawling on the ship deck, putting all these combos, then some platforming, minor platforming you'll be doing where spikes will be coming out of the ground and stuff like that. So all of them are
Yeah, this is
look and
exactly the
sound
kind
very
of concept.
retro. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's the kind of thing that you want in your life right now. So
yeah.
and the last one, last one I'll keep it short because it's a very interesting one. It's going to come out in January 28th of January. It's called The Stone of Madness,
Oh,
and
ये
I've been
Blasphemous वालों का game है क्या?
uh,
The guys who made
yeah
Blasphemous है
yeah Blasphemous 1 and 2, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is but this is that like it's not combat oriented like Blasphemous. So this is like real time stealth and strategy, and what you're doing is that there is this like it's the 18th century and there is the Spanish monastery, and people have been kept over here, prisoners who are like mentally not sound, and the Spanish people have like put them in that kind of a thing, like a insane insanarium kind of a place. And the thing is that now this place is under like turmoil, and these some of these group of people, like 4 or 5 people I think are there. I got to see 2 of them during the demo, and you have to like you're wanting to escape from this place, And what you do is that you stealth your way out. You use these strategies, and many of them have to do with light. You can light up your candle and stuff like that, and create these places. And you can find out the vision cones of the enemies who are guards who are going around in and around. And what is the thing is that you have to play together. Like five of these characters have to like play together in order to escape from this like monastery. And the thing about this game is that if you take a look at it, it's the Stone of Madness. Incredible art. Like the art style is incredible. It's something that you like. Very few games have that kind of like a flair of like the art style that this game has. And like really good, like they have qualities and stuff that they can do. And they have these special skills, each of them. Like one of them is a I don't know, witch kind of a thing. And she can use some of her stuff to befuddle some people. And like the main character that you have, who is like one of the monks, he has these bouts of paranoia and dementia. And then at that point of time, his like vision gets like reduced a lot and everything. So you're dealing with a lot of like multiple stuff over and over, stacked up on top of each other in order to like complete the game. And it's like it's stunning. It's stunning. It's the art style is stunning, and the gameplay is something that you can take slow, and you can take it one level at a time, one space at a time. This isometric perspective and everything, it's just a very interesting thing that not many people are doing right now. So yeah, that was like the 5 demos. I hope the demos are still online by the time this video goes out, so that you people can check it out. And yeah,
I want to check out Present and like the fourth game, like
yeah,
the hack and slash one.
yeah,
That looks, but I'll definitely check them out. Yeah.
yeah.